And of course, guys like Jason Hartman or Robert Kiyosaki. Hell, I mean, Ken McElroy would laugh at that. They're like, no, I mean, dude, that's how you get wealthy is you use debt, good debt to your advantage. That's how and remember, guys like Kiyosaki and Jason Hartman and I think probably Ken McElroy as well, they made their millions long before there was anything there wasn't even an internet, man. There was no social media. There was no crypto, no nothing like that. So they figured, to their credit, they figured this shit out like way back in the day. And of course, what I would ask guys like guys who have like in the money sphere, like a Kiyosaki or whatever. By the way, I'm going to get Kiyosaki here for you at some point. We've already talked about it. So sooner or later, we will get Robert Kiyosaki
in the studio
and talk about money. We're not going to talk about red pill stuff. But we'll get Robert in here at some point. But like what I would like to ask Robert, and I think I know how he would answer this, but like I would like to ask him like as far as his old way of thinking about money. If you've ever read like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he always talks about my poor dad and my rich dad, right?
Yeah.
And so that to me, that's almost like analogous to like the old set of rules versus the new set of rules. And he always said, I couldn't find any kind of education on how, like, when are we going to take classes on how to make money? Like he was in high school. He always, over and over and over, he repeats this, but like anybody
but
has
it's true,
read
though.
But it's true though. Yeah, it is. It's very much true. And so it's like he wanted to learn how to make money. He wanted to learn how, like, okay, where's the classes? And like, well, you can go to business school. And that's not what he wanted. He wanted how does money work? How does it function? And again, it was, I think, going from the old dad, the old poor dad model to the new rich dad model.
Right.
And now he did that back in like the book has been out since what, 96, 97?
I mean, it was the first financial book I ever read.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of people said that to me when I first started working with Robert. They're like,
middle school book fair.
Yeah. I mean, and it's still, I think from a principle standpoint, I think it's still very much valid.
Yes.
But I think also it speaks to what we're talking about today is like, there's this idea that this is the way things should work, right? My dad, I think I mentioned this before when we first did your show here, when I was here with O'Neill that one time.
Yep.
My father was like, he comes from the old, God rest his soul, but he came from the old school, man. He was like, you go, you work out. I think my dad worked at a grand total of 3 places in the time that he was alive.
Yeah.
He always worked in administration. He was a vice president of a hospital for a while. And he always had the same problems at every one of these hospitals and stuff. And he would go to work and he'd get up in the morning, go to work, drive, make his commute, go put in an honest day's work, get an honest day's pay, come back. And he was very well paid for what he did. But, to update him, like the thing is I think what a lot of people think is that they get stuck in this idea that it's always going to be the same. Like this is just how you do it. You go and you get a pension, and then you go to school. You go to high school. You graduate. You go to college. To get a degree. Then you use that degree so you can go get a good job. You have the good job. You make a lot of money. You get a pension for it. You get a retirement, whatever it is. You marry your wife. You put out 2 kids. Squeeze out a couple of kids, and then at 65, then you can retire. Hopefully, you did everything the right way, and then you can go retire in the villages or something in Florida and play golf until you die. Right? Yeah. That's like the old school way of thinking about it. That does not exist and has not existed for really, I would say probably since like the late 70s, if we're going to be honest. For the people that it does exist for, they're usually very, very wealthy. Like they can afford to live in. I don't know about you, but I know exactly how much it costs for like guys to retire if you know what the villages are in Florida.